Cruise Control streams live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast episode's information.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson here. We are ready to give you a great hour of information about what's going on in the automotive industry and maybe some tips if you're heading out to look for a new vehicle. We'll tell you about that. Got a great study coming up that we're going to tell you about. But first, we're starting with some news that you want to listen up to if you own certain vehicles, and we'll tell you which ones they are in a little bit. A new airbag recall means 67 million vehicles are headed back to the dealers to get those bags swapped.
Here we go again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll tell you what we know. It's going to happen, though. And you're probably wondering, what are the most dependable cars and trucks money can buy?
All right. Well, hey, and in some
I'm
cases, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get dependability. Right. So we'll tell you which ones they are. Something to think about if you're buying a new vehicle, right, Les Jackson?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're going to buy even a used vehicle, get something that you know isn't going to break.
Yeah. And talking about breaking, Ford shuts down the Mustang plant to get things back in line. We'll tell you what was going on there. Actually, it's good. They found errors and they shut it down, and, they're going to fix them up. We'll tell you.
That's right. You got to respect them for that. Plus, summer's coming very soon. And what do you do if you see a pet in a hot car? Well, we all want to be good Samaritans, and, for us animal lovers, we want to try and save it. But it depends on the state you're in. You need to research what you're allowed to do.
Yep, absolutely. And then talking tech, GM says it's got a way for you to avoid red lights forever. And it could be pretty interesting, couldn't it? And I've got an at-the-wheel review, Les Jackson, also of the Toyota Tacoma.
Cool.
Interesting time here because this is the 2023 Toyota Tacoma. This was the TRD Offroad edition. And this week coming up, we're going to see a brand new Tacoma, the 2024. So a lot to talk about. It's also going to have one of those 3-pedal deals as an option. It's going to keep the manual transmission as an option for all 3 people that would like that, right?
That is right. That is right. That is right.
Yeah. Airbag recall, we're going to get into this after the break, but should we be rethinking airbags? I mean, maybe some kind of different system? I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't know
what the alternatives would be, but maybe there's something new out there.
Yeah. Well, I did see one company is taking old airbags and making little totes out of them. Maybe that's what you could do with them. Hey.
I don't know about that.
We'll be right back on Cruise Control. Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, we thought this was kind of not going to be discussed much anymore after the years that we were talking about airbags, but no such luck. A new airbag recall, as we said in the opening, 67 million vehicles are going to be going back to the dealers for an airbag recall. And this time, well, let's talk about it. These are not Takata airbags.
No, company called ARC, ARC, and here's what it affects. It is GM vehicles, Buick Enclave, Chevy Traverse, GMC Arcadia from 2014 to 2017, and the modules are going to be replaced. The ARC Automotive Inc. company, the dealer, will replace the driver airbag module. And this comes from a crash that happened in March of a 2017 Chevrolet Traverse, in which the front driver airbag inflator ruptured during deployment, and I believe the person got some facial injuries. But
yeah, and there have been 7 ruptures of these airbags in the last however amount of time. But which interesting. I don't know anything about ARC, but the fact that it's in Tennessee kind of tells me that airbag inflators basically are rocket fuel,
mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of rocket technology in the Tennessee, Kentucky area.
Okay.
So I would think it's an offshoot of some of those researchers. Anyway.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, and one driver was killed in Canada.
Wow. Well, I mean, you and I were just talking about this during the Open. Should we start thinking about completely rethinking the airbag? I mean, there's been so many problems with these things. You would think after that, I don't know what they're doing differently now after all these recalls. Obviously, they changed the propellant. Obviously, it's got to be made that it doesn't create a shrapnel situation. I mean,
that's right.
So what do you think?
Well, okay, I'll give you the simple answer. In the future, when all vehicles are autonomous, they won't crash.
So you don't need an airbag.
You won't need one, but that's not soon. And the other thing is airbags have been mandatory since the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 30 years old, some of them.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, and you would think that they know how to make them.
We used to think that.
I know. Got a little crazy there.
Yeah. Now, again, very, very, considering we have 230 million passenger vehicles in this country, and only total Takata in these, less than 45 airbags have failed like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny, tiny percentage problem, but if you're one of those 45, it's not.
Well, you know, also think about the airbag. It sits there. It's exposed to the sun.
Absolutely.
You know, the control modules are under the hood, so there's all kind of heat cycling there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have to think about different ways where to locate. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe it's time for a rethink on it. And as you said, the answer, wonderful analogy on it, or analysis, I should say, is when you have autonomous. Well, you won't even have a steering wheel when you have autonomous vehicles.
That's right.
So you don't need an air unless they put them in the what's left of the dashboard. But I doubt it.
Yeah, you could create a safety harness that would keep people nicely pinned to the seat, so you wouldn't need the airbag to stop their forward motion. But I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I remember when they came out. Remember the original ones would hit with such force.
200 miles an hour.
Wow. It's like getting punched in the face. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you up to date. If you have one of those cars, once again, or vehicles, mostly GM vehicles. No, they are in GM, Stellantis, BMW, Hyundai, and Kia vehicles. The GM part of it covers about 1 million of those. Buick Enclave, Chevy Traverse, GMC Arcadia from 2014 to 2017. I'm sure if you have a vehicle affected by this, you'll be getting a notice. So Hey, we want to put you on notice and tell you about what some of the most dependable cars and trucks are. We got the results of a great new study, so stay tuned. Great information if you're looking for a vehicle. Stay tuned to Cruise Control. We're just getting started.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back. We're having a little fun during the break here at Cruise Control Radio. Thanks for coming back. Hey, it's Fred Staab, Les Jackson, and we've got some great information here from iccars.com. They always seem to put together some great studies, and it's great information, so we like to bring it over to you in case you're looking for a vehicle. The longest lasting, most dependable cars and trucks. And where to begin? They really break it all out.
We should break out, sedans, SUVs, trucks.
Okay. And then they have an overall list, too, of cars.
Well, true, but
likely to last 25 miles. 250,000 miles, right? So let's start with pickup trucks. That's always something people crow about, isn't it?
Okay. Now, you would expect a pickup truck, pretty much all of them, to well maintained to last 250,000 miles.
I would say so.
It's a heavy duty thing.
Yeah. Pretty basic sometimes.
Yeah. And the least likely one, which is still better than average, is the Nissan Frontier.
Yeah. Cadillac Escalade EXT. Boy, when's the last time you saw it? That was the Avalanche, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the Avalanche, and it's about the same level as the Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
The Ram 1500, which, is pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
Not much better than those two.
Yeah. Ford Ranger, number 13 on the list. Ford Ranger, not the one that was just released, obviously.
And the GMC Sierra.
Mm-hmm. Ford,
and here's a surprise.
Yeah, Ford F-150. It's in the top 20, but it's only at number 11. That's kind of low, isn't it?
That is low.
What's
kind
up
of scary. But then it gets a little better. The Ram 3500 and the 2500.
Okay. The Chevy Avalanche coming in at number 8 for all you Avalanche buyers. When's the last time they built an Avalanche?
Why is it so much better than the Cadillac Escalade when they're the same?
Less electronics, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. Silverado 1500 again.
The best. That's the best 1500. That's the best 1500 out there. Number 7.
It is the best. And of course, that's the 2500 Silverado, the Sierra, which same vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the Tacoma Toyota.
I'll show you mine. There's the one I drove.
And that's a reliable, Toyota.
Yeah. Number 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 3, the F-250 Ford. Well, aren't most of those diesel?
Most of them are. Most of them are very heavy-duty pickup trucks. Depends if you're going to use them with severe duty, like driving them through wet and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do the maintenance, but they'll last. Number 2, Toyota Tundra. People swear by them.
Right up there. Yeah, people love them.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 1, no surprise, Ford F-350 Super Duty.
Yeah, well, you've really graduated into like almost a professional level truck there, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, it's also upwards of $100,000.
Well, if you're not interested in a truck, let's look at some of the longest lasting cars. And I am really heartened to see one that's up at the top that is related to my vehicle. But let's start at number 10.
I don't see my vehicle anywhere.
I don't see it either, Les. So I got to be honest.
I am not surprised.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's run them from 10 on up.
Yeah, from 10, Volkswagen Jetta.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising. No. And, of course, the Volkswagen Golf.
Yep.
Number 9.
not surprising, Honda Civic 8. And Acura
Not
RL, a little bit more
not
surprising. Acura RL, though, right?
That's right. And number 6, Lexus GS 300. Again, not a surprise.
Yep. And then Subaru Legacy. They last a long time.
That is a bit of a surprise to me. Kind of a happy surprise.
I'm also happily surprised about the Toyota Matrix at 4, the cousin to the Vibe.
Yes, you have the Pontiac version of that, and it's just indestructible.
Keeps going. It's a Corolla. By the way, Corolla came in at 14 on this list.
Well, that's right. And then number 3, Toyota Camry. Again, I would have predicted that.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, Honda Accord.
Yep, 27.1% chance of going to 250,000 miles. And then Toyota Avalon, 33.1% chance of going to 250,000 miles. Pretty cool, right?
Absolutely. I have a neighbor 2 doors up who just last week has a Camry with 200,000 miles on it. He spent $6,000 to, fix it up, and typical stuff: suspension parts, head gasket, timing belt.
Yeah. But here's the one reason why they wouldn't make it to that: somebody doesn't want to put the money in to fix it up.
Right.
And
right.
Or they just grow tired of it and they just want something newer. And, they might say, it just doesn't make sense to put $6,000 into that older car. But some people do.
Well,
how about this for minivans? Minivans, number 5, the Nissan Quest. When's the last time that was made?
Man, wow. Around 2000?
That has a 3.5% chance of making it to 250,000 miles, according to the IC Cars study.
Yeah, Dodge Grand Caravan, same thing.
5.1, yep. Town and Country, a little bit better at 6.8, right?
That's right. And then the Honda Odyssey, very popular, and that's only 13. All of the minivans are they have a tough life.
A lot of Cheerios being thrown around in the back, I guess.
Yep. And a Toyota Sienna, way up there, 23%.
Yeah. Most likely, 23% likely to make it to a 250,000.
It's a very informative study.
Yeah, it's from iccars.com. You can go over to iccars.com and check them out if you want the full list and see if your vehicle is on there. Surprise on the F-150, I would say, didn't do better.
I am surprised at that.
Because don't they always say, like, the certain percentage of F-150s are still on the road?
Well, but the problem with that marketing is that they always say, and Subaru says it, and a bunch of other manufacturers are saying it now, is that 98, 93, 95% of those built in the last 11 years are still on the road. That's just a mathematical game. That same percentage of anything built in the last 11 years is still functioning.
Theoretically, yes, unless you bought a Yugo.
And certainly not a certain Mazda that I own. but refrigerators, air conditioners. It's a mathematical certainty.
Algorithm. Yeah. Statistical number. So cool stuff. Well, hey, when we come back, we've got a ton more to go. We're going to talk about Ford shutting down the brand new Mustang plant because there were some issues there. I'm going to tell you about summer coming and what to do if you see a pet in a hot car. It depends on what state you're in. We're going to talk tech about GM saying, hey, we could have you avoid red lights forever. And then I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad. So, hey, we've got a lot coming up on Cruise Control, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We'll be right back.
We are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast's episode information.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I want to tell you what, we're not going to talk about how to save your pet yet. First summer, Mustang had to shut down their plant, one of the plants.
Yep.
And by the way, we applaud them for this because they want to make a good product, and in order to do that, sometimes something goes wrong at the plant.
Yep.
And this was the Flat Rock assembly plant in Detroit, and they halted. Well, actually, it was last month. They'll be down this week.
Mm-hmm.
Quality issues, they like to say.
Yeah, and they named out a couple of them, including body panel fitment, an electrical problem that requires additional engineering.
Are you listening, Tesla?
And V8 valve problems. That's weird, isn't it?
That's very strange.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't think they've changed the valves in the Coyote engine, have they? The Coyote V8?
No,
but
I don't. Well, some of these things, the original design on some of these components, the valves might fit a little bit loose in the stems.
I don't know. So does it still pay, in your estimation, to not order an early car and let them figure it out? What happens to these cars that were built? Are they the test cars, that won't be sold, or?
Well, it depends on how many they've built before they find the problem. But I tend to be one that advises people wait a year.
They get it all. Yeah.
And let them work out the initial bugs.
You remember, our friends at the Corvette team would say, yeah, we make hundreds of improvements every year. Some you wouldn't even know, but we make them, and some you don't even care about. The guy showed me one where, well, if you bend down here, you see this screw has a different kind of washer, but you had to lay in the storage area upside down. It's like, yeah, he said, it really bothers me. And I said, well, I'm bothered by those things, but I would never see that because I wouldn't do it. And as long as it's not flopping around, it's fine by me,
Sure.
But I guess it's good. It bothered him. He said, I wrote this all up. We've got to fix this. I said, okay. So, but on the other hand, I wouldn't like getting one of these Fords with a valve problem, electrical issues, and body fitment issues. That wouldn't be nice, would it?
It wouldn't. And this does happen. But, and if they've shut down a factory, obviously this is a widespread problem they've discovered, and they're going to fix it before any more go out of the factory.
Yeah. Would it ever be so bad, do you think, that if they built your car, that they would say, like, all right, do over. We're gonna just build you another one. We'll take that one back.
You don't want this one.
And I'll build you another one. Of course, it will have a different VIN code, but I don't know. That would be kind of cool if they did, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But typically, if they shut a factory down, there's, in this case, multiple problems, but they probably shut it down for this valve problem. That was the main one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they'll fix it.
Yes. Now on to the pet story that we mentioned, because summer's coming up. You know how hot it can get in a car. It gets like a furnace inside there, doesn't it?
140 to 150.
Yeah, and pets can't survive in that for sure. But
no.
But what do you do if you come out of a store and you see a dog in there in distress in a very hot car?
Call the police or the fire department right away.
Mm-hmm. So there are it's an interesting article here. I believe this was on Autoblog. 31 states have some kind of law that is meant to protect animals in vehicles. At least 19 states, plus Washington, D.C., there are laws specifying it's illegal to leave pets unattended in extreme temperatures. In 21 states, authorities such as police, firefighters, or animal control are allowed to forcibly open the car to rescue it. Additionally, many states have Good Samaritan laws that shield bypassers from liability when helping someone in distress, someone being a pet. In the following and 13 states, those laws include rescuing a pet from a hot car, and we have a list of those states. And then there's one, I believe, that says, well, if you break the window, you pay for half of it if you're a Good Samaritan, which I would do anyway. I would do that if I could save a dog or a cat. How about you? Or a llama?
I would break the window, and then I would say when the owner comes, you got your choice. I'll pay for half of your window, or I will be the expert witness when this goes to court, and you get charged with a serious misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Your choice.
It's a horrible way for a pet to
but
be treated.
They tell you it's required that you notify authorities before attempting the rescue yourself.
Right. Some people may get so caught up in it that they start,
right.
But yeah, you notify the police and they should come over and then let them do it, right?
Yep, and you have to have a reasonable belief the animal's in imminent danger.
Yeah,
take a video with your phone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, if it's moving around and wagging its tail, it might be okay, right?
No more damage than necessary.
Yeah, you don't cut the roof off the top of the car?
Well, I would. And some states, this kind of annoys me, they have considerations for what kinds of animals can be rescued.
Wow. Well, what?
Some cover only dogs and cats. Others refer to animals more broadly. Well, Western states exclude livestock.
Wow.
Well, you're not going to have a cow in your car or a pig.
I hope not.
So the big thing is call the authorities.
Yeah, and say
and ask them, hey, can I break the window on this?
Yeah, get them on the phone and keep them on the phone. Say, okay, I'm going to break this, because they'll record it and then you can use it and say, I asked. What should I do?
Yeah.
Fire department or police should get there pretty fast.
Right. And for those of you that need whatever reason need to leave your pet in the car for whatever half hour or an hour, leave the engine running
and the AC
turn on the air conditioning, and don't worry, it will not hurt your car. It'll run all day and all night. It will not hurt the engine.
Interesting.
Put a note in the window saying the AC is on, the animal is fine, I'll be back in an hour.
Some cars you can't even lock, though, if you leave them running.
You're right. Some newer ones you can't lock.
Yeah. Or just go to places like Home Depot where they allow dogs. Bring your dog in. And they allow cats, too. I just never saw a cat in there. Would your cats want to go to Home Depot? Probably.
I don't. You guys, no, apparently they're not.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. It's dusty and there's a lot of stuff.
I'll wait for you.
So, talking tech, never hit a red light again. You ever think it's kind of dumb? You're sitting there at, maybe you're coming home from somewhere and it's early in the morning and we're going somewhere early in the morning. There's no one around and you're just sitting at a red light.
Yep.
It's kind of dumb, right? But you can't go through it, especially today with cameras and stuff.
Nope.
GM Super Cruise and the upcoming Ultra Cruise are going to have the ability to have you avoid red lights. This is according to a Car Buzz patent filed by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, in the Patent and Trademark Office, in which GM highlights the problem of current systems not accounting for traffic lights. And they say this is a quality of life issue, and the Ultra Cruise that will be on the Cadillac Celestiq will use all kinds of sensors, LiDAR, camera, radar, etc., and transceivers for traffic light data to make sure that the car will speed up or slow down so you don't, get stopped by those lights.
Those of you who are really good with electronics could
I know what you're going to say.
could create your own traffic preempter,
But
which is what the device is called. They are illegal for homeowners to have them.
yes. But I would not share any further info on that, Les, because we're going to take a break. And when I come
wouldn't
back,
it be cool?
And Les comes back on Cruise Control, we will have a review of the Tacoma. Stay tuned.
Cruise Control streams live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast episode's information.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We are glad you're along for the ride. We've got an at-the-wheel review. This time, it is from Toyota, and it is the TRD Offroad. Pretty cool vehicle. Mid-size pickup. On the inside, cloth seats, kind of nice style to them. Some piping, some design in there. They've got a lot of nice things going on in the inside of this vehicle. Great nav system. Les likes it because it's integrated into the dash and it is not sticking up.
Yep.
Like a lot of
I
other
much
vehicles.
prefer that.
Easy to throw into four-wheel drive with a knob on the dashboard, four-wheel low. It has a safe. That was an option in there. I believe this is because a lot of people are carrying pistols now, so they want to put them somewhere. The rear glass opens, always nice. I always like that. This was interesting. Up above the mirror were some of the controls for the all-wheel drive system, including the locking, diff, and hill descent. But all in all, a nice interior, a lot of common pieces to the Toyota lineup. Rear seat passengers, good rear leg room, and some nice storage behind the seat. Comfortable. Good headroom, good leg room. Not a lot going on as far as rear seat amenities other than some deep cup holders. If you're off-roading, you can keep something in there. Behind the seat, some nice storage. Maybe you keep a laptop back there, and then some cover storage under the seat as well. Good to see them using that room. I like that. I like that a lot. And there's covered storage on the other side of the seat cushion as well. Under the hood, ours had the V6, which is an Atkinson cycle engine, and it did a nice job of moving it along, although the vehicle did feel a bit heavy, I think, with those big wheels. As you know, they keep on turning, don't they?
They do keep on turning.
Great look on this vehicle. Ours was white with the graphics on board. It had a bed extender out back. And the bed, they are made of sheet composite on the inside. So it's not even a bed liner. The interior is a composite material, which is great. So it's not an add-on bed liner. You flip out that extender. I think these are a great idea for smaller pickup trucks, especially if you want to carry sheet goods or you just want to carry a lot of stuff and add another couple of feet to your bed. I think it's a good way to go. And just remember to secure everything down with the tie downs. It has 110 volts in the bed, which is great. Another little small storage area. I'm not sure what that was for. A lot of ride height in this vehicle. It's one of the highest riding vehicles I've had in a while with no running boards on it. Goodyear Wranglers to get it going through the mud and grime. Good-looking truck. I mean, this is kind of a pure pickup truck with a luxurious interior, high riding, and very capable. Rode nice on the highway, but it was a little bit of a struggle for some people to get inside of it. TRD 4x4 off-road. You can also get the TRD Pro, which has even more capability. But this is a nice package if you're looking for a mid-sized pickup truck. And as I mentioned, there's going to be a new version of this released this week. So this is the 2003 version. So if you're going out to buy one, this might be the one you can get a deal on once the new one is revealed. It's something nice about a mid-sized pickup truck. It reminds me of the Frontier and the Ranger and the rest of them. It's everything you need, but in a smaller package. And the fact that you have 4 doors and some storage inside is not a bad thing either. You can take it grocery shopping and put all your bags on the back floor there. Toyota, hey, reliable. This, as we just told you earlier in the show, this is one of the most reliable vehicles you can buy and probably will make it to 250,000 miles plus. 4-star overall safety score, 4-star frontal crash, driver and passenger, side crash, front seat 4 stars, rear seat 5 stars, and rollover 5 stars. So that's pretty good news. Less good news when it comes to economy, 22 highway, 18 city, 20 miles per gallon. But remember, you are driving a V6 and you are kind of working that heavy-duty drivetrain and, those big wheels. So they do take some power. But nice to have that 120 volts in the bed, too. I think that it's great to see, and that's 120 volt, 400 watt system available out there, so that you can do some damage with that for sure. The bed is 73.7 inches long, and of course you get the extender in there. Actually, the double cab has a 60.5 inch bed, and the access cab has the little bit longer bed. That's the one with the little 2 doors in the back. Ours had the crew cab, which is what I would get. The engine puts out, it is a 3.5 liter V6 Atkinson cycle combustion to help maximize efficiency with Toyota's D4S fuel injection system, both direct injection and port injection. 278 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. Interesting, this vehicle is built in Baja, Mexico. So a truck that is for off-roading is built in one of the big off-road areas of the world.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Base price, $38,405. We had the optional LED headlights with LED daylight running lights and black bezel and LED fog lights, $485. I think it's worth it. It had a bed extender, which on the windshield sticker says Beck extender, which I don't know what that is. They mean bed extender, I think. $300. Blackout package. That blacked out the trim and the logos and the exhaust pipe. Probably wouldn't go for that for $430. The console safe, $359. So all in, with destination, which is $1,335, $41,314 for a really nice pickup truck. I wonder now that the new one will be revealed on the 19th if you'll see some deals on these. What do you think?
I think there are going to be some surprises.
You mean surprise deals?
I think so.
Okay. Good
I
looking
just
little truck.
Sort of feel it. Oh, by the way, what's its load capacity?
I don't think I have that for you.
Is that like a half ton or a quarter ton?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that. I just know that it is one of the very capable off-road. It's not the Pro, the TRD Pro, which is the most capable. And then you can get TRD Sport. TRD stands for Toyota Racing Development. And then ours is the off-road. So the off-road, it gives you that multi-terrain select system. And you can choose a drive mode to match the type of terrain. That's the controls up above the mirror, such as loose rock and all that. But interesting. I enjoyed my time in it. I thought it was a fun vehicle to drive. Probably, if I was going to use it every day, I'd have to put a step on the side or some kind of running boards, or maybe those retractable running boards that retract, because it was a little tall to get in.
Yep. I know the feeling.
So, but once you're in, it's nice, and the cab is plenty big. And would somebody that just wants a pickup truck just to figure out, like always wanted a pickup truck, probably they'd be better suited with something like the Ford Maverick or whatever. This is a little bit a rougher version, for somebody that's looking to actually do some off-roading and then have something that you can use around town. But anyway, that is from Toyota, is the TRD Offroad. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control streams live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast episode's information.